Hello, everyone. Um, a lot has happened. Things are getting better, so that's good. Um, I was given my protection order. I'm just kind of letting everything sink in. I think that'll help with a lot of things. I've had a lot of people since that bit of things has been wrapped up, and since a lot of people have heard my personal story in private, there's been a push to talk more about my experience because I believe it could help others who've had similar experiences. And I can agree with that. It's not that I disagree. I think I'm just at a point where I might need some rest before I'm willing to talk about my story, type of thing, if that makes sense. I was able to get things sorted with my boss man about overtime when overtime is available to help my situation. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. With the protection order, again, like I said, I feel like that'll help with a lot of things. Just kind of letting that sink in. My whole life has changed now, I guess. I will touch on a little bit in this video of some of the things I've gone through in my life. Just a little bit, just what I'm comfortable with, I guess, for now. Before this hearing stuff and everything, I mean, I've had a wild life. I've had a rough, wild life. But it felt like when I was given that, in a way, it felt like I was finally told that I have a life and a future for me and not for other people. And I don't know, it's just like, oh, I'm alive. And it makes me look back to where I was when I was a kid. As some people might know, when I was 17, I was out the house. I was already, I was still in high school, but I didn't, yeah. I had to stay with some grown-up dude who did a lot of really bad stuff to me. And a lot of adults failed me, especially, teachers who did, the mandatory reporters, but I'm going to show a few images of what I think I can show on YouTube. Remember when you see all these images, I was 17, and this was my senior year of high school. Same year that COVID hit, which made it all way worse, especially when you were in lockdown and in quarantine with the person that's doing all this and all the adults around you are failing you. But during that period, I attempted to take my life twice within just a few months of each other. I think there was a 1 month period in between my attempts. I was a kid and I wasn't able to go back home. They wouldn't let me come back. And I was 17, so it's not like I could get my own lease. And COVID just hit, and I got laid off from my job. Because I was 17, I worked at a movie theater. And a lot of really bad stuff happened to me that I don't know if I'm comfortable talking about yet. But there was a lot of times as a young kid, I thought, wow, I'm gonna die here. This is where my life's gonna cut off and end. And I have some of those pictures now. Here's one of the first pictures. I was a teenager. It's hard to look at these, Obviously I look way happier and better now, but I look back at this image of myself where a lot of physical, like, a lot of different types of abuse were happening to me back then. And it felt like every adult around me just failed me. Every single one of them. I had one friend throughout high school who was there for me and believed me and was morally consistent and has always never switched up on any of it ever. And that person is still my friend to this day. I know even with this recent hearing stuff, that person, wrote a letter about what they saw and my experiences and signed their name. Here's what I believe to be factual and what I've witnessed throughout this person's life. I mean, you can just see it in my face. I thought, I'm gonna die here. I was 17 and a senior in high school, and all I could think was, I'm gonna die here. And everyone's letting it happen to me. But as you can clearly see, I managed to get out of that and build myself up to where I'm at now. I managed to graduate high school, even with everything that was happening to me. I didn't get to go to college, but, I've done a lot with my life. Over the weekend, the One Way Lane demo on itch.io hit 5,000 downloads. I have my lab job, my dental lab job. I'm a mom now. I've done a lot with my life. There's more pictures. I have them in black and white because this is blood, and you can't show that on YouTube. Again, I was 17. And a lot was happening to me. Like I said, I put it in black and white because that is blood. It's blood on my hand, my legs, on my face, on my chest. That's blood. I've had to get myself through a lot, and I want to be able to tell people, especially kids, because I was a kid. I was 17. I know I've said that a lot in this video, but I was just a teenager. And I know a lot of fans of my game are teenagers. And I don't want to show this for, shock value. It's just to show you, this is what some teenagers are going through right now. And we don't talk about it. And I want a lot of those people who play my games who might be going through this right now to know, it gets better. I want them to be able to look at my life and what I've done, and I want them to know that it gets better and that this ends eventually. And it's so hard and scary and tiring when you're in it, and it's so hard to get away from and build out of. But this that you see right here, it does end. I had to do a lot to get away from this and make all of this end and build myself up to this point, but it does end, and it does get better. Again, a lot of people want me to share my story because they know it'll help others, and I know it will too. But I think I just need some time to let everything that's happened recently sink in, heal, talk to my therapist. I'm still working on One Way Lane. I'm getting my drive and creativity back with that, actually. On the other social platforms that it's on, I've posted some of the updates I've been making to it. I hope to put out an update for the demo this year, just to fix up some bugs that people reported and to update the art style to my current one. Just a quality of life update, a small one. Adjust the story a little bit for pacing. Things like that. But sorry for this weird update. I don't know. It is getting better. It just had to get a little worse first, I think. That's how life is sometimes. If you're watching this, good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are. Bye.